The pregnancy test was still warm in Nicole Santos's pocket when GI Unox guys pulled her back from Incheon Airport. She'd kept this secret for 3 weeks. 3 weeks of feeling sick in the morning, hiding behind shut bathroom doors. 3 weeks of knowing that everything, totally everything, was about to blow up. But as she stood in his fancy Hanamdong apartment, watching Seoul's most dangerous guy walk back and forth like a trapped tiger, his jaw squeezed so tight she could see the muscle twitching under golden skin, Nicole figured out he had no clue just how super late he really was. 12 years as an LAPD talker for tough spots had taught her to read guys like him. Dangerous, super clingy, sure they had all the power. She'd said yes to what looked like a real security job in Seoul 2 months ago. Walked right into GI Unox's world, thinking she knew bad guys. She'd been totally wrong. The big windows behind him glowed with the city's lights, making shadows that made the dragon tattoo twisting up his arm look alive. Eunuch had taken off his suit jacket some time after they grabbed her, and now his white shirt was rolled up to his elbows, showing ink that curled over his skin like smoke. Old Korean designs, mixed with something scarier, more rough. He looked like trouble dressed in fancy clothes, and Nicole hated how her sneaky body still reacted to him even now, even mad, even scared. Tonight, his voice was smooth like whiskey and sharp like a knife. You got all the way to airport security before my guys found you. He stopped walking, turned those super dark eyes on her, and Nicole's breath stopped. What did you think would happen, Nicole? That I wouldn't watch every way out of this city. Nicole's fingers squeezed into fists at her sides, nails digging half moons into her hands. The real pain helped keep her steady, stopped her from doing something dumb like walking over to him, or worse, spilling the truth too early. I thought maybe you'd remember. I'm a person, not a thing you own. You can't just keep a thing you own. Something dark and wanting flashed on his face. He moved then, closing the gap between them with sneaky grace, and Nicole's heart pounded against her ribs like it wanted to get out. He stopped close enough that she could smell his fancy scent, something pricey and warm like cedar that made her head spin, made her remember how he'd kissed her neck last week, teeth brushing her heartbeat until she'd said his name like a wish. What Nicole didn't know yet was that in exactly 4 minutes, she'd set off the bomb in her pocket, and nothing, not his control, not his carefully built empire, not the 3 rival groups circling them like sharks, would ever be the same. Is that what you think this is? His fingers came up, touched her jaw with super soft care. His touch felt hot. Nicole could feel a heartbeat jumping under her skin, knew he could feel it, too. What else would you call it? Her voice came out lighter than she wanted. Darn him. Darn her body for turning on her like this. You track my phone. Your guys follow me everywhere. He got rid of that businessman from Singapore just because he asked me to dinner. He touched your hand. Eunuch's thumb brushed her bottom lip and he tugged low in her belly. No one touches what's mine. There it was. That word that made her both super mad and weak with want. Nicole pulled back, making space between them before she did something bad. Like lean into his touch. Like tell him she'd started wanting kimchi stew at midnight. That his housekeeper, Mrs. Park, had been teaching her Korean words. That somehow Seoul had started feeling less like a jail and more like, no, she couldn't think like that. Not when she was trying to get away. I'm not a thing you can own, eunuch. No. His smile was slow, dangerous, the kind that made her knees soft. You're so much worse than that. You're the thing I'd burn this whole city down to keep. The words should have scared her. Instead, something hot and needy twisted in her chest, because somewhere between being his prisoner and being his whatever this was, she'd fallen in love with a guy who talked about wrecking things like it was a poem. Her mom in LA would flip out. Her baby girl, her tough talker who'd always picked safe over risky, now mixed up with a Korean crime boss who looked at her like she was his last breath. But what scared Nicole most wasn't Yunyo's clinginess, it was that she was starting to want it. I can't. She swallowed hard, made herself look at him. Her hand moved without thinking to her belly, stopped just in time. I can't stay here, eunuch. I can't be stuck in a fancy cage, while I what? He moved closer again, and this time she had no place to back up. Her back hit the cold glass of the window, and suddenly he was right there, his body inches from hers, giving off heat. While I keep you safe, while I make sure none of my enemies ever get close enough to hurt you. The city spread out behind her, millions of lights, and Nicole felt like she was falling. While you suffocate me, the words burst out raw and needy. Do you have any idea what it's like knowing that every breath I take is watched? Every move I make is controlled. I had a life, Jan Sok, and now I'm just yours. Something broke in his face. You say that like it's a bad thing. It is when I can't. She stopped, bit her lip hard enough to taste blood. Almost told him, almost said that she couldn't raise their kid in a cage. Couldn't teach a baby about love, while their dad was teaching her about chains. Eunuch's hand came up, held her face with a softness that went against everything he was. His other hand pressed against the glass beside her head, trapping her in, and Nicole could feel the heat of him, the barely held back roughness. You think I don't know what I'm doing to you? His thumb brushed her cheekbone, and she hated how she leaned into it. You think I don't see the way you look at the door sometimes? Like you're figuring out escape paths. Then let me go. But even as she said it, her fingers grabbed his shirt, felt his heart pounding under her hand, fast, needy, matching hers. I can't. The words were raw, almost broken. His forehead dropped to hers, and Nicole's breath caught at how close it felt. Nicole, I can't. If you knew, if you understood what they'd do, then help me understand. She grabbed his shirt with both hands now, felt the heat of him through the fabric, the way his body went stiff at her touch. Stop treating me like I'm made of glass, and talk to me. Tell me why you're so, because they'll kill you. The words burst out of him. The moment you step outside my protection, 3 different groups will come after you. You're my weakness, Nicole. Everyone in Soul's bad world knows it, and in my world, weaknesses don't get protected. They get used. Silence hit between them like a wave. Nicole's mind raced, figuring out this new stuff, and suddenly everything made sense. The constant guards, the clingy tracking, the way he'd reacted when that man touched her hand. Not just jealousy, but fear. Eunuch's chest moved hard against hers, his control finally breaking, and she saw something in his eyes she'd never seen before. Pure, real fear. This guy, this dangerous, clingy, totally tough guy, who got loyalty with a look and fear with a whisper, was scared of losing her. So that's it. Nicole's voice came out smaller than she wanted, and she hated it. Hated feeling small. I'm just supposed to accept being your prisoner for how long, eunuch? Forever. His jaw tightened, that muscle twitching again. When he spoke, his voice was super soft, the kind of soft that comes before fighting. I'll chain you to my bed until you get pregnant, if that's what it takes. His hand slid down, spread possessively across her hip, and Nicole's breath stuttered. You'll stay because you'll have no choice. You'll stay because Nicole laughed. The sound cut through his threat like broken glass, sharp and surprising and a bit crazy. She watched confusion replace anger on his face. This guy who set up big money deals and got total loyalty from killers. Suddenly, totally, completely undone by her laugh. Her hand moved to her jacket pocket, fingers closing around the plastic test. Her heart pounded so hard she could feel it in her throat, in her fingertips, in every part of her body. This was it. The moment that would break his control, reshape his world, change totally everything. Too late, she whispered, pulling out the test and holding it between them like a bomb with the pin already out. 2 pink lines, clear forever. I already am. If you're already hooked and want to see what Yoon does when he finds out Nicole's carrying his child, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what happens next. Trust me, things are about to get dangerously complicated. The test hung in the space between them, and Nicole watched Eunuch's face. Watched the exact moment he got it, watched his carefully built mask break wide open. But what she didn't see, what she couldn't possibly know as his hand shook, reaching for the test, was that everything she thought she understood about why she was really here was a lie. The pregnancy test dropped to the marble floor between them, and for 3 heartbeats, 3 long choking heartbeats, GI Eunuch didn't move, didn't breathe, just stared at those 2 pink lines like they were words he'd forgotten how to read. Then his knees gave out. Nicole jumped forward without thinking, grabbed his arm before he could fall all the way. The guy who just said he'd chain her to his bed, who ran an empire built on blood and fear, was shaking, really shaking in her hold. How? His voice broke. He tried again. How long? 3 weeks since I found out. Nicole's throat hurt. Maybe 6 weeks along. I haven't seen a doctor yet. Eunuch's hand shot out, grabbed her wrist with needy softness. His eyes, gosh, his eyes were wild, not focused, like he was drowning. You were going to leave. You were going to. He couldn't finish. His other hand came up, hovering over her belly like he was scared to touch, scared she'd break. You were going to take my child and leave. The blame hit like a real hit. Nicole pulled back, anger burning hot in her chest. What did you expect me to do? You stay here and raise a baby in your pretty jail. Teach them that love looks like watching and control. He stood up slowly, and Nicole watched his shock turn into something sharper, more dangerous. You think this is about control? What else would you call it? Survival. The word burst out of him. He grabbed her shoulders, not rough, never rough with her, but strong enough that she couldn't look away. Do you have any idea what carrying my child makes you? You're not just my weakness anymore, Nicole. You're a target. The second word gets out, and it will get out. It always does. Every enemy I've ever made will come for you, for that baby. Cold slid down Nicole's back. She'd been so focused on getting away from the cage, she hadn't thought about the bigger stuff. Hadn't thought about what it meant to be pregnant with the kid of Seoul's most dangerous guy. But she also heard what he wasn't saying, the way his voice broke on that baby, the way his hands shook on her shoulders. You're scared, she whispered. Something open flashed on his face before his mask slammed back. I'm being real. No. Nicole reached up, held his face the way he always did to her, felt the muscle twitching in his jaw. You're scared of losing us, of failing to protect us, of she stopped, understanding hitting her, of becoming your father. Eunuch flinched like she'd hit him. His hands dropped from her shoulders, and he stepped back, turned toward the windows. The dragon tattoo on his arm seemed to twist in the city lights. Don't you told me about her. Nicole moved closer, careful, like going near a hurt animal. Your sister, how your father's enemies took her because he couldn't. I said don't. His voice was sharp like a blade now, the kind of tone that made grown guys back away slowly. But Nicole had spent 12 years talking down guys with guns. She knew the difference between real danger and a guy falling apart. This was a guy falling apart. I'm not her. You. She put her hand on his back, felt him go stiff. And you're not him. You don't know that. He turned then, and the raw fear in his eyes took her breath. You don't know what I'm capable of, what I've done to keep you safe these past 2 months. His hand came up, traced her collarbone down to rest over her heart. The things I'll do now that you're carrying my child. Heat and fear fought in Nicole's chest, because there was promise in his touch. Yes, but also threat, not to her, never to her, but to anyone who got between him and what he considered his. Then stop pushing me away. The words came out stronger than she felt. You want to protect us. Fine, but you can't do that by locking me in a cage. Teach me your world instead of hiding me from it. Let me be your partner, not your prisoner. A partner. He said it slowly, tasting the word. His thumb brushed her lower lip, and Nicole's breath caught. You want to know my world? The real one, not the cleaned-up version I've been showing you. Yes, it will change you. His other hand slid around her waist, pulled her close against him, and Nicole could feel every hard part of his body, the way his heart pounded against her chest. The things you'll see, the things you'll have to accept about me. There's no going back. Nicole, she should be scared. Every gut feeling yelled that she was making a deal with the bad guy. But when she looked into his eyes, she didn't see a monster. She saw a guy who'd been made by violence and loss, who loved her so much it scared them both. Then change me. She stood on her toes, lips brushing his jaw, tasting salt and fancy scent. But stop trying to protect me from you. I'm already yours, eunuch. His control broke. Eunuch's mouth crashed down on hers, and it wasn't soft, wasn't sweet. It was needy and taking and edged with something wild. His hands gripped her hips, lifted her, and suddenly Nicole's back was against the cold glass, her legs wrapped around his waist, the city spinning behind her. She could feel the heat of him through their clothes, the way his body shook with holding back, even as he kissed her mouth hard. Mine, he growled against her throat, teeth scraping her heartbeat hard enough to leave marks. His hand slid up her thigh, pushed fabric aside, and Nicole gasped, "Say it yours." The word came out wrecked. "Yunk, say all of it." His forehead pressed to hers, and she could feel him shaking, barely holding back. "Say you'll stay. Say you'll let me protect our child. Say you won't try to leave again." And there it was, the guy under the monster, raw and needy and scary human. But what Nicole didn't know, what she couldn't see as his hands loved her body and his mouth promised forever, was that her try to get away tonight had started something that couldn't be stopped. In exactly 3 hours, every big player in Seoul's bad world would know that G.I. Eunuch's woman had tried to run, and they'd start wondering why. Nicole's hands held his face, made him look at her. Her chest moved hard, lips puffy from his kisses. "I'll stay, but I need to understand something first." Tiredness flashed in his eyes. He let her slide down slowly, kept his hands on her waist. "What?" She tried to sort her thoughts, hard when her body still burned from his touch. Something had been bugging her for weeks. Little weird things that her talker's mind noted without trying. The way his security boss looked surprised when she talked about the job. How Mrs. Park, his housekeeper, had asked about her real job in America, with real confusion, like she didn't know Nicole was supposed to be working here. The security job. Nicole watched his face closely. It was real, wasn't it? Kim Security Solutions is real. The way Eunuch's face changed told her everything. Oh my gosh. She pushed at his chest, and this time, he let her make space. There was no job, was there? "Nicole, how long?" Her voice shook. "How long have you been planning this?" Silence stretched between them like a big gap. When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet, almost giving up. "I saw your picture in an LAPD news thing last year. You'd talked down a hostage spot, saved 3 lives. There was something about how you stood, the smarts in your eyes." He ran a hand through his hair, and for the first time since she'd met him, Ji Unsuk looked almost open. "I told myself it was just being curious that I'd look you up. Maybe set up to meet you if you ever came to Seoul." Nicole's hand flew to her mouth. "You followed me." "Yes." No waiting, no sorry, just hard truth. "I learned everything about you. Your mum in Koreatown, your Sunday dinners with her where you'd fight about her kimchi being too spicy, the self-defense classes you taught, your favorite cafe on Wilshire Boulevard where you'd check negotiation training stuff." His eyes met hers without blinking. "And then I couldn't stop. So I made the job, made it pay good enough that you'd think about it, timed it for when you'd said wanting a change." The world tilted. Nicole backed toward the door, her talker's brain trying to get the level of planning, the clinginess needed to how. Her voice came out choked. "How did you know about Sunday dinners with my mom? About the cafe? Unless you had people watching me in LA." His silence was answer enough. Nausea rolled through her. "For how long, Yoon-se? How long were you watching me before you brought me here?" 10 months. The words hit like a real blow. Nicole's back found the wall, and she slid down it, her legs giving out. 10 months. He'd been setting this up for 10 months, making a whole tricky plan to, "I know how it sounds." Eunuch moved toward her, but stopped when she flinched. Pain flashed on his face. "But I'm not going to lie to you anymore." "Nicole, you want the truth?" "That's the truth. I saw you and I wanted you and I did whatever it took to have you and I won't say sorry for it." "Won't say sorry?" Nicole's laugh was weak, broken. "You followed me across big lands. You tricked me into coming here." She pressed her hands to her belly. And now I'm pregnant with your child, and I don't even know what's real anymore. This is real. He pointed between them, need creeping into his voice. What we have, the way I feel about you, that's real. Nicole, I didn't plan on falling in love with you. That wasn't supposed to happen. But bringing me here where she made herself stand to meet his eyes. Every talk we've had, every moment, how much of it was real, and how much was just part of your clinginess. All of it. His voice broke. Every word, every touch that was real. You think I could fake this? He pressed his hand to his chest. You think I planned on being so totally undone by you that the thought of you leaving makes me. He couldn't finish. Nicole wanted to believe him. Gosh, she wanted to. But trust, once broken, didn't just fix itself. I need space. She moved toward the door. I need to think too. Don't leave this building. The order in his voice made her mad, but under it was something else. Fear, please. Nicole, I'll give you space. I'll stay away, but don't leave. It's not safe. Not after tonight. Safe. She turned on him, anger finally breaking through the shock. You've been following me for almost a year, Yanni. You made a tricky plan to trap me in your world. Nothing about you is safe. No. His jaws squeezed. But I'm the only thing standing between you and worse monsters. And now that you're carrying my child. He stopped and something dark and owning flashed on his face. Now you're the most valuable target in Seoul. The words hung between them heavy with meaning. Nicole's hand moved without thinking to her belly. She wanted to run, wanted to scream, wanted to, but she didn't move. Because despite everything, despite the lies and the clinginess, and the totally crazy level of planning, part of her got him, saw the same needy want she'd been trying to deny in herself. She was in love with a monster, and she was carrying his child. Top floor, she finally said, her voice empty. The guest room. I'll stay there tonight. But you, she met his eyes, saw the relief and pain fighting there. You stay away from me. I need time to process this. All of it. Eunuch nodded once, sharp and controlled, but she could see the cost of that, yes, in the stiff way his shoulders held, the way his hands squeezed into fists, as Nicole walked past him toward the elevator. She couldn't shake the feeling that she'd just made a choice not to leave, but to stay. And that choice, more than anything he'd done to bring her here, scared her most of all. Because staying meant accepting what he was, what they were, and there was no going back from that. Nicole woke to the smell of food, real food, not the energy bars she'd been eating for stress for 3 weeks while hiding her morning sickness. Soft morning light came through the cream silk curtains of the guest room, and for a confused moment, she forgot where she was. Then it all came crashing back. The pregnancy test, Eunuch's words, the 10 months of watching that had brought her here. Her hand moved to her belly, still flat, still not quite real. A baby. Their baby. Her phone on the table said 7:47 a.m. She'd got maybe 3 hours of sleep. Her mind spinning through everything, but her belly growled like a traitor. The sick feeling that had bugged her for weeks gone for no reason. Nicole walked to the door on bare feet, her dark brown skin still warm from sleep, her natural curls wild and free, the way she never wore them out anymore. In LA, she'd learned to fit in as a black Latina woman, switching between her mum's Spanish and work English, straightening her hair for court, making herself smaller, safer. Here in Seoul, she stood out everywhere she went. Her rich brown skin and curves a big difference to the pale beauty looks around her. She opened the door a bit and found a tray on the floor. Seaweed soup, traditional for pregnant women in Korea. Beside it, a plate of perfect golden toast and ripe mango slices set up like her mom used to do on Sunday mornings. Her throat got tight. A note in sharp, nice writing. Mrs. Park said, "You need to eat. The soup is good for the baby. I remembered you saying about your mum's top. They won't be as good as hers, but I had my chef try. Darn him. Darn him for remembering random talks from weeks ago, for somehow knowing just what she needed, for making it hard to hate him totally." Nicole carried the tray inside and ate it all, her body happy for real food. The baby seemed to like it. For the first time in weeks, the sick feeling stayed away. She was finishing the last mango slice when her phone buzzed. Unknown number. You have beautiful hair. Cold filled her veins. Nicole jumped to her feet, went to the window. The apartment was 43 floors up. Nothing but sky and souls spread. No one could see her from another text. I especially like how it looks spread across white pillows like dark silk. You should wear it down more often. Her hands shook. Someone was watching her. Someone had been in her room while she slept. Close enough to see her hair spread across the pillow. Close enough to the door burst open. Eunuch stood there, phone in hand, his face a mask of cold anger that made him look every bit the dangerous guy he was. Behind him, 3 guys in black gear. His eyes checked her, the big t-shirt she'd slept in, her bare legs, her free hair, and something owning and rough flashed on his face. Pack a bag now. What's now? Nicole. He crossed to her in 3 steps, took the phone from her shaking hands, read the messages. The muscle in his jaw twitched. How long? Just now. 2 texts. Her voice came out steadier than she felt. Years of talk training kicking in. Who? Choice group. He was already moving, checking windows, vents, every way in. His guys spread through the room like shadows. They have someone inside the building. He yelled orders in fast Korean, then turned back to her. We're leaving. There's a safe house in Book. You'll stay there until no. Nicole surprised herself with how firm her voice was. No more running. No more hiding. You said you'd teach me your world. Start now. Who are these people and what do they want? Eunuch stared at her like she'd grown another head. They want to hurt you to get to me. That's all you need to. That's not how this works. She moved closer, ignored how his security team got tense at her coming near. In the morning light, she could see the tired marks under his eyes. He hadn't slept at all. I was a hostage talker, Eunuch. I've dealt with people who wanted to hurt others to make a point. You can't protect me if I don't understand the threat. But what Eunuch couldn't tell her, what he'd die before saying, was that the choice group going after her wasn't random payback. It was personal, because 6 months ago, when he'd stopped their Gangnam growth, the body that came back in pieces had been Choi Dejung's younger brother. And now Dejung wanted Eunuch to feel that same loss. For a long moment, he just looked at her. This woman who should be scared, should be asking for protection. Instead, standing there in his t-shirt with her chin up and fire in her dark eyes, something changed in his face. The Choice Syndicate controls the ports in Busan 6 months ago. They tried to move into Gangnam. He paused, picking words carefully. I stopped them for good. You killed their people. Yes, no, sorry, no reason, just fact. Nicole's mind was already working, checking patterns, danger levels, and now they want payback. But why come after me? Why not attack you straight? Because killing me doesn't hurt enough. Eunuch's hand came up, held her face with super soft care, his thumb brushing her cheekbone. The difference of his pale fingers against her brown skin sent heat through her despite everything. Destroying what I love, that's the real punishment. The words hung between them, raw and true. Nicole's breath caught, her body reacting to how close he was, even as her mind yelled warnings. She could feel the heat coming off him, smell his scent mixed with something darker, fear maybe, or anger. Then we take away their power, she said, voice steadier than her fast heart. If they think I'm helpless, they'll keep coming. But if I'm not, if I'm part of your group, trained, protected, known, absolutely not. His voice went hard, the hand on her face tightening a bit. You're not getting anywhere near. I'm already near it. She grabbed his shirt, pulled him closer until they were breathing the same air. I'm carrying your child, Eunuch. That makes me a target forever, unless I become something else. Something they can't touch. You want to become like me. Horror and something else. Want maybe, flashed on his face. Nicole, you don't understand what you're asking. Then, explain it to me. She held his gaze, refused to back down, even as his free hand slid to her hip. Owning and taking, or watch me figure it out on my own. Your choice. The standoff stretched between them, tension snapping like sparks. Nicole could see the fight on his face. The needy want to protect her versus the slow realizing that she was right. That cage wouldn't keep her safe. Only power would. His eyes dropped to her mouth, and for one breathless moment, Nicole thought he might kiss her. Instead, he stepped back, breaking the touch, leaving her skin cold where his hands had been. Get dressed. Something worked like. His voice was rough. You're about to meet the family. Family, my close group. He went to the door, paused. Fair warning, they're going to hate you at first. You're an outsider, American, and you've made me. He searched for the word vulnerable. They'll see you as a weak spot. Kurt Nicole's smile was sharp. I'm very good at changing people's minds. 90 minutes later, Nicole stood in a private eating room in Gangnam, really aware of how she stood out. She'd picked a black tight dress that her mum had bought her last Christmas. Work-like simple, but it couldn't hide her curves, or the rich brown of her skin that seemed to shine against the plain whites and greys of the room. Her hair was pulled back in a smooth bun, gold hoops in her ears, small nods to her roots that she refused to hide. Even here, 5 of the most dangerous-looking people she'd ever seen watched her with different levels of doubt and meanness. 3 guys, 2 women, all giving off the kind of deadly skill that came from living in a world where mistakes killed you. Traditional Korean breakfast was set out on the table. Side dishes, grilled fish, but no one was eating. Eunuch stood beside her, his hand resting owning-like on her lower back, thumb making small circles through the fabric. The touch was clearly on purpose, a claim, a message. She's mine. Deal with it. This is Nicole Santos, he said in English, though Nicole guessed everyone here spoke it well. She's carrying my child. As of today, she's under the group's protection. Anyone who touches her answers to me. The room got about 20 degrees colder. One of the women, tall, slim, with a scar cutting her eyebrow and the kind of beauty that could kill, leaned back in her chair. Her eyes looked over Nicole with open dislike. You brought an outsider into the family because you got her pregnant. That's the plan. Watch your tone. Me. Eunuch's voice could have cut glass. No, it's fine. Nicole stepped forward out of Eunuch's protective spot, meeting Mi's mean gaze straight. She's right to question it. You don't know me. For all you know, I'm a weak spot, a danger. She paused. Let that sink in. But I was a crisis talker for the LAPD for 12 years. I've talked armed bad guys into giving up. I've figured out criminals, studied how they act, learned how people think when they're needy and dangerous. That's America. Mi's voice dripped, looking down. This is Seoul. Different rules, different game. Human ways don't change based on place. Nicole kept her voice even work-like, the same tone she'd used in question rooms. Need looks the same in English and Korean. So does fear. So does the need to prove yourself. She glanced meaningfully around the table. So does the gut to protect what's yours. A beat of silence. Then the youngest guy at the table, mid-20s with kind eyes despite the tattoos covering his arms, grinned. I like her. You like everyone, Jaeyoon Mjai muttered, but some of the meanness had gone from her face. She studied Nicole more carefully now, reassessing. Fine, she can talk. But can she survive what's coming? The choice group doesn't talk. Santos, then we wrecked them first. Nicole's voice was steady, calm, every bit the talker who'd faced killers. But we do it smart. They sent those texts to scare me, which means they want me rattled, making mistakes, running scared. So we give them what they want. We let them think I'm scared. Meanwhile, I learn everything about how they work, and we use that against them. The oldest guy at the table, silver-haired eyes like bits of ice, spoke for the first time. You want to run a mind game on the choice group. I want to survive. Nicole held his gaze. And I want my child to grow up in a world where their mum isn't a forever target. If that means I have to become someone stronger, someone they can't touch, I'll do it. Mi stood slowly, circled Nicole like a hunter checking prey. You get what you're asking. Training means pain, means learning to hurt people, to kill if needed, means becoming someone your mum wouldn't know. She stopped in front of Nicole, close enough that Nicole could see the bits of gold in her dark eyes. You're soft right now. Regular person soft. Can you become hard? Nicole thought about the 12 years of walking into bad spots, of staring down guys with guns and finding words to make them put them down, of the bad dreams she still had about the ones she couldn't save, of the hardness she'd already built bit by bit every time she'd picked this job over safe. I'm harder than you think, she said quietly, but if I need to become harder, teach me. Something flashed on Mi's face. Surprise, maybe respect. She looked at Una. 2 weeks, I'll train her myself. If she survives that, if she proves she's not a weak spot, we'll talk about the choice thing. And if I don't survive? Nicole asked. MGI's smile was sharp as a knife. Then the problem fixes itself. The tension in the room went up, but then Jaeyoon laughed, real and warm. Welcome to the family, Nicole Santos. Try not to die. As the meeting broke up and people started eating, Yunog pulled Nicole aside into a small spot. His hand came up, touched her jaw, and she could see the fight in his eyes. You sure about this? Once you're in, there's no going back to who you were. Nicole thought about the woman she'd been 3 months ago. The talker who played safe, who followed rules, who never would have fallen for a guy like him. That woman was gone the moment she'd stepped on a plane to Seoul. I stopped being that person the day I met you, she said softly. Now I just need to figure out who I'm becoming. Eunuch pulled her close, pressed his forehead to hers, and his hand slid down to rest on her hips. Someone dangerous, he murmured, and she could hear the fear and pride mixed in his voice. Someone who scares me almost as much as losing you does. His mouth found hers then, not rough, not taking, but needy and soft and edged, with something that felt like goodbye, like he was sad for the woman she'd been, even as he helped make whoever she was becoming. Nicole kissed him back, tasted coffee and sorry and something darker, and for just a moment let herself feel safe in the arms of the most dangerous guy she'd ever met. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Eunuch rested his hand over her belly. Our child, he said quietly. They're going to grow up in this world with us. We need to make sure it's a world worth getting. Then let's burn down the parts that aren't, Nicole whispered back. And as they walked back to join his family, their family now, Nicole felt the last bit of her old life fall away. What she didn't know, what even didn't know, was that someone at that table had already made a choice. And in 72 hours, that choice would put everything, Nicole's training, the baby Unio's empire, in bad danger. But for now, in this moment, Nicole Santos took her first real step into the dark and found she wasn't scared of it at all. 48 hours left. Nicole didn't know about the countdown, didn't know that somewhere in Unio's close group, someone had already started things that would blow up in 2 days. All she knew was that, at 5:58 a.m. she stood in the training room in the basement of Unok's Gangnam building. And it looked like where bad dreams start. Concrete walls, buzzing lights like mad bugs, gear that Nicole knew from her LAPD defense classes. Except here, everything was made not just to defend, but to wreck. Mingi stood in the middle of the room, already in black training clothes that made her look like death come alive. You're late. Nicole checked her phone. 5:58 a.m. I'm 2 minutes early. In this world, early is on time. On time is late. Mi circled her slowly, checking, and late gets you killed. Strip. Excuse me. The dress. Lose it. You can't train in that. Mi's smile was sharp. What? You thought we'd start with ideas. Classroom talks about group setup. Nicole's jaw tightened, but she unzipped the workout dress she'd worn, showing the sports bra and leggings under. She'd learned in crisis talk training to always be ready. Always have layers. But standing there in Mi's hunter gaze, her brown skin shining under harsh lights, she felt open in a way that had nothing to do with clothes. Better. MJ moved closer, and Nicole made herself not step back. First lesson. Your body is a weapon, but it's also a weak spot. You're pregnant, which means everything is different now. Your balance will change. Your quick moves will slow. Your body will put the baby first over everything, including your own living. She tapped Nicole's belly and Nicole's hand shot up, catching Mi's wrist before she could think about it. Mi's eyebrow went up. Good gut moves, but gut moves without training get you dead. She twisted, and suddenly Nicole was on the mat. Mi's knee pressed to her chest. See, you reacted with feelings, protecting, in a real fight. That wait, that split second where you're thinking about the baby instead of the danger, that's when they kill you. Nicole's lungs burned, her ribs hurting under Mi's weight. Then teach me not to wait. Oh, I will. MJ stood, offered her hand. Nicole took it, let herself be pulled up. But first, you need to get what you're really training for. This isn't about making you a fighter, Santos. You'll never be as fast or as strong as the people who want you dead. This is about making you smart enough to live until help comes. Help, meaning eunuch. Help, meaning any of us. Mi's face softened a bit. Your family now. That means when you're in trouble, we come. But you have to stay alive long enough for us to get there. The word family felt weird in Nicole's chest. She'd lost her dad when she was 16. A drive-by in the wrong spot at the wrong time. After that, it had been just her and her mum building their own small, safe place of two against a world that took more than it gave. Her mum had taught her to be strong, to fight, to never let anyone make her small. Mia, she'd say in her mix of Spanish and English, the world will try to break you. Don't let it. Now Nicole was building a different kind of safe place, a more dangerous one. Show me, Nicole said. 2 floors above them, eunuch stood in front of security screens, watching Nicole hit the mat again and again. His hands were squeezed so tight his knuckles were white, the dragon tattoo on his arm seeming to twist with stress. Every time she fell, every bit of pain that crossed her face, he felt in his own body like a real hit. Ji-hoon showed up beside him, quiet as always. You could stop this. No, I can't. Eunuch's voice was rough. Keeping her safe means making her dangerous. Even if it kills me to watch, it might kill her, too. She's pregnant. Hung MGI is not holding back. MGI knows what she's doing. But Eunuch's jaw tightened as Nicole took a really hard fall. She has to learn. The choice group won't care that she's carrying my child. They'll use it against her. What Eunuch didn't say, what he couldn't say was that watching Nicole turn into someone harder, someone who could do violence was both his biggest hope and his deepest fear. Because once she crossed that line, once she became part of his world fully, there was no going back. And part of him was sad for the woman she'd been, even as he helped make whoever she was becoming. 3 hours later, Nicole's body was one big bruise. She'd learned 17 ways to break a hold, 8 spots that could drop a guy twice her size, and just how it felt to be choked out. Minji had been excited about that lesson, but she'd also learned something more key. She could take the pain, could push through it, could get back up. Enough. Me tossed her a water bottle. You did better than I thought. Most people quit after the first hour. Nicole drank deep, tasted blood from where she'd bitten her lip. Most people aren't carrying a crime boss's baby and being hunted by his enemies. True. MJ sat beside her on the mat, and for the first time her face was almost friendly. She was quiet for a moment. Then you asked yesterday why I was so mean. You said I was a weak spot. You were. You are. Mi's voice was careful, like she was picking each word on purpose. Eunuch doesn't let people in. Santos, not really. But when he does. She stopped, seemed to think something inside. There have been others, women he brought around. One of them couldn't handle this life. She tried to leave. We found her 3 days later. Mi's eyes were far away. Spooky. Let's just say his enemies made an example of her. Cold filled Nicole's veins. He never told me. Of course not. He's trying to protect you from his own past. MJ met her eyes. So yeah, when you showed up, pregnant, American, regular person, I thought you were already dead. Another person we'd failed to protect. She stood, offered her hand. But you're tougher than you look. If you keep listening, keep learning, you might actually live through this. Nicole took her hand, let herself be pulled up. Her muscles yelled in protest. No pressure, right? Mi's smile was sharp. Welcome to the family, Santos. The pressure never stops. They were heading toward the showers when Jaeyoon burst through the door, his usually friendly face tight with stress. We have a problem. Mi's whole way changed, going from teacher to fighter in a heartbeat. What kind of problem? Choi problem. Jeon's eyes looked at Nicole. They left another message for her. The elevator ride to Eunuch's office was quiet, stress snapping like sparks. Nicole's training sore muscles hurt every move, but excitement kept her sharp, focused. When they reached the top floor, Eunuch was standing by the windows, his back stiff, giving off the kind of cold anger that made the air feel risky. On his desk sat a box small, wrapped in black paper with a single red ribbon. "Don't touch it," Mi said right away. "Already opened." Eunuch's voice was ice. He turned, and Nicole saw something in his eyes she'd never seen before. Fear mixed with rage. A bad mix that made him look able to do anything. "It's for Nicole." Nicole moved forward despite Minji's warning hand on her arm. Inside the box, nestled in black silk, was a single picture. Nicole's breath caught. It was her mum leaving her place in Los Angeles. Morning light, catching her silver-streaked dark hair, a grocery bag in her arms. The photo was new, maybe yesterday. Given the Dodgers shirt her mum wore that she'd just bought last week when they'd video called. Beneath the photo, a note in Korean. Eunuch read it, his voice barely held. "Beautiful family look-alike. We can see where the daughter gets her strength. It would be a shame if something happened to such a strong woman." The world tilted. Nicole's hand shot out, grabbed the desk for balance. "My mum. They're threatening my mum. They're trying to make a reaction." Mi's voice was fact-like, work-like. "Make you scared, make you run. They're doing it." Nicole turned to Yunio, her fear turning into anger. "You said I was the target. You said I needed protection. You never said they'd go after my family." "I didn't think they would." Eunuch's control was breaking. She could see it in the way his hands shook, the muscle twitching in his jaw. "The Choice Group works in Korea. They don't have big stuff in LA. This shouldn't be possible unless he stopped something making sense. Unless they're working with someone else, or someone gave them the info." "Who?" Nicole asked. "I don't know yet." His eyes met hers, and she saw the thinking there, the wheels turning. "But your mum can't stay in LA. Not now. They've already shown they can reach her. So what are you saying?" "I'm saying we bring her here where I can protect her." He was already pulling out his phone. "I have people in Los Angeles, security workers, real ones. They can go to her, explain the spot. And you think my mum is just going to get on a plane because some strangers tell her to?" Nicole's laugh was weak. "You don't know her. She raised me alone in LA after my dad was killed. She doesn't trust easy, and she sure doesn't take orders from guys she's never met." "Then you call her." Eunuch held out his phone. "You explain. You tell her she needs to come here, and say what?" "Hi mom, remember that job in Seoul I took? Turns out my boss is a crime boss who followed me for 10 months, got me pregnant, and now his enemies are threatening to kill you. Want to come visit?" Nicole's voice broke. "She think I've lost my mind, then lie." Eunuch moved closer, and despite everything, Nicole felt the pull of him, the heat, the strength, the way he looked at her like she was his whole world. "Tell her you need her, that you're pregnant and scared and you need your mum." "That's not even a lie, Nicole, is it? And gosh, help her." It wasn't because standing there looking at that picture of her mum who'd lived through so much, who'd taught Nicole to be strong, who'd warned her about guys who seemed too good to be true. Nicole wanted her mum badly, wanted her smarts, her strength, her way to see through and find the truth. "She hates you," Nicole whispered. "When she finds out what you are, what you've done, she'll hate you." "I know." Eunuch's hand came up, held her face with super soft care. His thumb brushed her cheekbone, and Nicole felt tears coming. "But she'd be alive to hate me. That's all that matters." Nicole took the phone. Her hands shook as she dialed. She knew the number by heart, had called it 1,000 times from 1,000 places. It rang 3 times before her mom answered, voice warm and known, and so normal it hurt that Nicole almost broke. "Mija, I was just thinking about you. How, Soul? Are you eating enough? You know, you always forget to eat when you're working, Mom. Nicole's voice broke. I need you to listen to me. The warmth in her mum's voice changed right away to worry. Nicole Capassa, what's wrong? I'm pregnant. The words came out fast. And I'm scared and I need you. Can you come to Soul? Please. Silence on the other end. Then pregnant, Mama, how? When who is the dad? Nicole looked at Junio, at this dangerous guy who'd turned her whole world upside down. It's tricky, but I need you, Mom. I need you here with me. More silence. Then her mum's voice, softer now. Knowing there's something you're not telling me. I'll explain everything when you get here. I promise. But right now, Nicole's voice broke. Please, Mom. I need my mom. Okay, mija, okay. Her mum's voice was strong now. Protective. I'll get the next flight. But Nicole, when I get there, you're going to tell me everything. And tender as I understand. Nicole closed her eyes. I love you. Tomo meet. I'll see you soon. Nicole ended the call, handed the phone back to Junio. She's coming, but when she gets here, I'll tell her everything. Junio pulled her close, and Nicole let herself lean into him, let his arms wrap around her. Even though part of her knew this was risky, knew she should keep space. I'll tell her what I am, what I've done, and I'll accept whatever comes from that. But what neither of them knew, what they couldn't possibly know as Nicole pressed her face into his chest and felt his heart pounding, was that the phone call had just started the traitor's next move. Because someone had been listening, someone always was. And by the time Nicole's mum's plane landed in Seoul in 18 hours, the trap would already be set. Not for Nicole, not for Unique, but for the one person neither of them could afford to lose. 36 hours left, 24 hours left. Nicole stood in Incheon Airport's private spot, watching the ground through big windows as her mum's plane landed. Unique stood behind her, close enough that she could feel his heat against her back, his hand resting owning-like on her hip. The touch was small, but saying something. He'd been doing more since the pregnancy. Like he needed the real touch to make sure she was still here, still his. She's going to hate you, Nicole said quietly, leaning back into him despite knowing she shouldn't look for comfort from the guy who'd caused all this mess. I know. His breath was warm against her ear, sending chills down her back. But I'm not going to lie to her. Nicole, she deserves the truth. The truth might make her try to take me back to LA. Then I'll convince her that's more dangerous. His arm wrapped around her waist, hand spreading protectively over her still flat belly. But I won't stop her from trying. She's your mum. She's supposed to protect you from guys like me. The plane door opened, stairs coming down. Nicole's heart pounded as a figure showed up. Her mom looking just as she had on video last week, but smaller, somehow, more open in person. Maria Santos was 53, with rich brown skin that showed her African roots and silver-streaked dark curls pulled back in her usual bun. She wore jeans and her favorite purple sweater, despite the Seoul heat, and her dark eyes checked the spot with the sharp watch of a woman who'd lived through too much to ever feel totally safe. Then she saw Nicole and her whole face changed. Mija. Nicole broke away from Unique, met her mum halfway, and suddenly she was 17 again, crying in her mom's arms after her dad's funeral. Except now, she was crying because she was pregnant and scared, and in love with a guy who was probably going to get them all killed. Her mom's hand stroked her natural curls, and Nicole realized she'd worn her hair down today the way her mom always liked. I'm here now. Calm down, Mika. But over her mom's shoulder, Nicole saw Junio's face. The way his eyes checked the spots where he's out. The small tightness in his shoulders that meant his security team had seen something, and she knew for sure that nothing was going to be okay. Mom. Nicole pulled back, wiped her eyes. There's someone I need you to meet. Maria Santos turned, and Nicole watched her mum's sharp gaze land on Unique. Watched her take in the pricey suit, the tattoos just showing at his collar and wrists. The way he held himself like fighting was always a choice. Watched her mum's face shift from warm to checking, to something harder, more protecting. You're the dad. It wasn't a question. Yes, ma'am. Eunuch moved forward, held out his hand. Gia Eunuch, it's an honor to meet you, Mrs. Santos. Maria looked at his hand like it might bite. My daughter killed me crying, saying she needed me. Now I'm in South Korea, and you're looking at my pregnant daughter like she's the only thing keeping you breathing. Her English was perfect, barely with accent, but Nicole heard the strength under the same strength that had got them through her dad's death, through being poor, through everything. So, before I shake your hand, Ji-Yoon, you're going to tell me exactly what's going on. Nicole's heart sank. Mum, not here. Let's get to somewhere private. No. Maria's eyes never left Eunuch. Right here, right now, because I didn't raise my daughter to be scared. And I didn't fly halfway around the world to play games with guys who think they can control her. What Maria Santos didn't know, what she couldn't possibly know as she stared down this dangerous guy, was that in about 6 hours, she would become the center of a life or death choice, and the pick her daughter would make would change all of them forever. For a long moment Eunuch just looked at her, then something changed in his face. Respect maybe, or knowing. You're right. You deserve the truth. He looked at Nicole and she saw the sorry there. I run a bad group in Seoul. Your daughter came here because I made a fake job offer to bring her into my world. I'd been watching her for months before that. She found out what I was, tried to leave, and I stopped her. Now my enemies know she's important to me, and they're threatening her, threatening you. That's why you're here, because staying in LA made you a target. The quiet that followed was super loud. Nicole watched her mum take in this info, watched her face go through shock, anger, and finally scary calm. Then, Maria Santos slapped him. The sound echoed through the spot. Eunuch's head snapped to the side, but he didn't move, didn't react beyond that, just took it. Mom. Nicole grabbed her mom's arm before she could swing again. You followed my daughter. Maria's voice was low, dangerous. You tricked her, trapped her here, and now you're telling me she's in danger because of you. Yes, Eunuch's cheek was already turning red, but his voice was steady. Everything you just said is true. I won't say sorry for bringing her here. I'd do it again, but I will say sorry for putting her in danger, for putting you in danger, and I will do whatever it takes to keep both of you safe. Safe? Maria laughed, the sound bitter. You think you can keep anyone safe when you're the reason they're in danger in the first place. She turned to Nicole. Mia, get your things. We're leaving both of us. Right now. We can't. Nicole's voice was quiet but firm. Mum, if we leave, they'll find us. His enemies, they already know where you live in LA. They have people watching. The only reason you made it on that plane is because Eunuch security was protecting you. Then we'll go somewhere else. New York. Miami, anywhere, but there is nowhere. Eunuch's voice was flat. Fact, not anymore. The moment Nicole became pregnant with my child, she became part of this world forever. Running won't change that. It'll just make her an easier target. Maria looked between them and Nicole saw the moment her mom's smart mind connected the dots. So my choice is what? Stay here with the guy who followed my daughter, or go home and wait for his enemies to kill me. I know how it sounds. Eunuch started. You know nothing. Maria's voice was cold. You don't know what it's like to be a woman alone raising a daughter in a world that wants to break her. You don't know what it's like to bury your husband and wonder every day if your kid will be next. She looked at Nicole, and there were tears in her eyes now. I raised you to be strong, Mia, to never let a guy control you, and now look at you. I'm still strong, Mom. Nicole's voice broke. I'm still me. But I'm also, she put her hand on her belly, I'm also a mom now, or I will be, and I need to protect my child the same way you protected me, even if that means doing things you don't get. The car ride to the apartment was tense and quiet. Maria sat between Nicole and Eunuch, a real wall, her body saying no. But Nicole noticed the way her mom's eyes always checked around, the way she got tense when cars got too close. Her mom was scared. Even if she'd never say it. They were 10 minutes from the building when Onyx's phone buzzed. He looked at it, and Nicole watched his whole body go stiff. What? She asked. My voice was tight. She's not answering. She was supposed to check in 15 minutes ago. June driving met Eunuch's eyes in the back mirror. Could be nothing. Could be nothing. It's not nothing. Eunuch was already calling, his knuckles white around the phone. MGI doesn't miss check-ins ever. Nicole's belly dropped. Where was she? Securing the safe house in Buchan. The one we were going to move you to. He listened to the phone ring. No answer. June, go to Buchan now. Rules say we get the protected to safety first. I said now. Eunuch's voice was cold. That's an order. The car turned, changing way. Maria grabbed Nicole's hand, squeezed tight. Nicole, what's happening? I don't know. But Nicole did know in that awful way, where your body gets it before your brain does. Something was wrong. Something was very, very wrong. They got to Buchan in 15 minutes. That felt like hours. The old-style house looked peaceful in the late sun. Too peaceful. No guards seen, no moving. Jonsik was out of the car before it stopped fully. Gun out from under his jacket, and Nicole saw her mum's eyes get big in shock. Do Nicole, he has a gun. Stay in the car, Junior ordered, not looking back. Lock the doors. June stays with you. If anything happens, he gets you out. Understood. I'm coming with you. Nicole was already opening her door. Nicole, she's your family. That makes her my family. Nicole's voice was strong. I'm coming. For a heartbeat, Eunuch looked like he might fight. Then he grabbed her, pulled her close, kissed her hard, needy and taking, and edged with fear. When he pulled back, his forehead pressed to hers. You stay behind me. You stay close, and if I tell you to run, you run. Promise me. I promise. But they both knew it was a lie. They moved through the house like shadows. 2 other security guys showing up from the car to spread out. The quiet was heavy, wrong. Nicole's heart pounded so hard she could hear it in her ears, could feel her pulse jumping in her throat. Then they found her. Me was in the back room, tied to a chair, blood coming from a cut on her forehead, and her lips split. But alive, awake, mad, and alive. Relief hit Nicole so hard her knees almost gave out. Don't. MGI's voice was rough as Eunuch moved forward. It's a trap. They were waiting for me. 3 of them. They knew I'd be here. Knew exactly when. Her eyes found Nicole went wide with horror. Why did you bring her here? Because you weren't answering. And I thought Eunuch was already cutting her ties with a knife from his jacket. Can you walk? Yes, but you need to listen. They didn't want me. I'm bait. They wanted you busy. Wanted you to bring the blast. Broke the front of the house. Nicole felt herself thrown back by the wave. Felt strong arms wrap around her, twisting so his body took the hit as they hit the floor. Stuff rained down. Wood, wall stuff, glass, and all Nicole could hear was ringing. All she could feel was Eunuch's body covering hers, protecting her and their baby, even as the world blew up around them. Nicole, his voice sounded far, muffled. His hands quickly checked her face, her arms, her belly. Are you hurt? The baby. Nicole. I'm okay. She pushed herself up on shaking arms, tasted blood and dust. I'm okay, Mom. Mom. Eunuch was already pulling her to her feet, and Nicole's ears were still ringing, but she could hear yelling now, could hear June's voice from outside. They're okay. Mrs. Santos is okay. They stumbled through the wrecked house toward the front. The car was still okay, just covered in stuff. Maria was already out, being held by Jayun as she tried to run toward the house, yelling Nicole's name in Spanish and English, her face full of fear. I'm here, Mom. I'm here. Nicole broke away from Eunuch, ran to her mum, and they hit in a needy hug. No pew, no pew. Her mom was crying, shaking. We need to leave, Miss Mika. We need to get out of here. But Nicole had seen it, on what was left of the wall near the entrance, painted in red. The woman, or the Empire. Choose. You have 12 hours. Under it, a picture stuck to the wall with a knife. Her mum sleeping on the plane. The angle said it was taken by someone on the plane, someone close. They were on her flight. Nicole's voice was empty. They'd been watching us this whole time. Eunuch stared at the message, his face a mask of cold anger and barely held fear. Then his phone buzzed. He looked at it, and whatever color was left in his face went away. What? Nicole asked, though she wasn't sure she wanted to know. They have the old man. They took him 2 hours ago. Eunuch's voice was dead, flat, and they're offering a trade. Him for you. 12 hours to decide. 12 hours left. The old man, the silver-haired one from the meeting who'd called her brilliant or suicidal, part of Eunuch's close group, his family. Nicole got then what the message really meant. Not the woman or the empire, but the woman or everyone you love. Choose who dies. This isn't the choice group, Minji said, limping out of the wrecked house. Blood dripped down her face, but her eyes were sharp, thinking, they don't work like this. This is personal. This is someone who knows you, knows how to hurt you. And suddenly, Nicole got it. The traitor wasn't just giving info, they were setting up everything. The threats, the timing, the impossible choice now being pushed on Unio. What Nicole didn't know, what even didn't know yet, was that the traitor had messed up one key thing. They thought would choose his empire. Thought Nicole would run when she saw she was the weak spot. They had no idea that Nicole Santos had spent 12 years learning how to talk with people who thought they had all the power, and she was about to teach them just what happens when you threaten her family. All of them. 6 hours left. Nicole sat in Eunuch's apartment office, staring at the picture of the old man, tied, bloody, but fighting even court. His name was Park Hunwoo. She'd learned. Eunuch's teacher, the guy who'd taken him in after his sister died, who taught him to live in a world built on fighting and loyalty, family in every way that counted. Around the table sat what was left of the close group. Me wrapped, but saying no to help until this was fixed. Jae-yoon, his usual warmth changed by something Nicole couldn't read. Worry maybe, but with an edge. 2 other older members and her mum who'd said no to leaving despite, or maybe because of the danger. We don't talk with bad guys, Me said flat. The moment we show weak, every group and soul will come for us. He's not a key thing. June's voice was careful, almost too careful. He's her Hanwoo, his family, which is just why we can't trade Nicole for him. Me looked at Eunuch, who hadn't talked since they'd got back. You know what he'd say if he were here. Protect the future. Protect the blood. Don't. Eunuch's voice was sharp like steel. Don't tell me what he'd want. Nicole watched him. This guy who'd turned her whole world, who'd followed her and trapped her, and somehow made her fall in love with him. Anyway, his hands were squeezed so tight on the table. She could see the dragon tattoo moving on his arm. His jaw was locked, that muscle twitching. He looked like a guy being ripped apart from inside. And suddenly, Nicole got this choice. The woman, or the empire, wasn't really about her. It was about breaking Unio fully, making him pick which part of himself to wreck. What if there's another way? Nicole's voice cut through the fight. Everyone turned to look at her. Maria reached over, squeezed her hand in warning, but Nicole pulled away softly. You are a hostage talker, Minji said slowly. You're thinking there's a way to what? Talk them out of killing him. I'm thinking we find the leak first. Nicole stood, went to the window. Her reflection stared back at her. Dark skin, tired eyes, but under the sharp focus she'd built over 12 years of high-risk talks. Everything that's happened, the texts about my mom, the trap at Buk-chan, the timing of this last say, it all needed inside info. Someone in this room has been giving our enemies everything they need to wreck us. The room got 20 degrees colder. That's a big blame, one of the older members said carefully. It's the only reason. Nicole turned back to them, her talker's brain working through the patterns. Think about it. They knew my mum's exact flight. They knew me would be at the Buchan safe house, and just when, they knew we'd bring my mum to the apartment. That's not watching. That's someone with way to our talks, our times, our plans. She watched their faces closely. Mi's face was thinking, checking. The older members looked doubtful of each other. Her mum looked scared, and Jae-yoon's smile was just a bit too tight, his eyes just a shade too watchful. So, what do we do? Eunuch's voice was careful. Question everyone. Hope the traitor says it. No. Nicole went back to the table, put her hands flat on it. We use what we know about how people act. about minds. She looked at each person one by one. Whoever's doing this isn't doing it for money or power. Those reasons are deal-like, not personal. This is personal. Someone wants to hurt you, just eunuch, which means somewhere in your past, you hurt them first. That doesn't make it small or much, me muttered. We've all done things, but only one person here has been acting weird, Nicole cut in. She'd seen it earlier, but hadn't put the pieces together until now. Only one person has been just a little too helpful, too worried, too eager to know every bit of what we're planning. She looked straight at Jaeyoon and watched his face change, the mask slipping for just a second before coming back hard. Nicole June started. You asked about my mom's flight details 3 times yesterday, Nicole said quietly. Said you wanted to make sure the security was tight. You said yes to working with me about the Buchan safe house. You were the one who said bring my mum straight to the apartment instead of a hotel first. She paused. And just now, when me said we shouldn't talk, you were the first to fight for family. Like you wanted to make sure eunuch would be feeling enough to think about the trade. June's smile went away fully. You're guessing. You're stressed and scared, and you're the only person who calls Park Hyun-woo by his first name instead of the old man or Hyung-nim, Nicole went on, which says close, personal link. But when I asked Mingi about the close group yesterday, she said you joined 5 years ago, the same year. She looked at eunuch. The same year you stopped the choice group's growth into Gangnam, getting it hit across eunuch's face. Your sister. For 3 heartbeats, nobody moved. Then Jeon's hand moved toward his jacket, and suddenly, eunuch and MJ both had guns out. But Jaeyoon was faster. His weapon wasn't pointed at them. It was pointed at Maria. Nobody moves. June's voice was still calm, almost friendly, but something mean hid under. Mrs. Santos, I say sorry for the rudeness, but your daughter is too smart for her own good. June eunuch's voice was barely held. Whatever happened, we can what? Undo it. June's mask broke fully now, showing raw sad under. My sister was smart, able. She wanted to work for you to be part of this group, but you said no to her because she was a woman, because she didn't fit your small idea of what this world needed. So, she went to the choice group instead. And 6 months ago, when you stopped their growth, his voice went cold. You killed her, sent her body back in pieces as a message. Quiet hit through the room. Nicole's heart pounded, but her voice stayed steady. What was her name? Jia. The name came out broken. Her name was Kim Jia, and she was my little sister, and she's dead because of him. I'm sorry. Nicole meant it. I'm sorry you lost her. I lost my dad when I was 16. Wrong place, wrong time, caught in someone else's fighting. I know what that sad feels like. You know nothing. June's gun never moved. You got to be sad for your dad. I had to pretend for 6 months that I didn't know who killed my sister. Had to smile and laugh and help the guy who murdered her, while I planned how to make him suffer. By making him choose, Nicole took a careful step forward, hands up. By forcing him to pick between the people he loves, because you wanted him to feel what you felt. Helpless, broken, wrecked. Another step. But June, killing my mom won't bring Jaya back. Killing Park Hyun-woo won't give you end. It'll just make more people sad, more families wrecked. Good. His voice broke. Let him know what it feels like. Let him carry that weight. He already does. Eunuch's voice was rough. I carry every person I've killed. June, every choice I've made. Your sister, if I'd known, if there had been another way. There wasn't. June's control was breaking. That's the problem with this world. There's never another way. It's always kill or be killed. Wreck or be wrecked. Well, I'm choosing to wreck. I'm choosing to make you pay. Then shoot me. Eunuch lowered his gun, stepped forward. Not them. They didn't kill Jia. I did. So if you want payback, if you want someone to pay, take it from me. Let them go and shoot me. No. Nicole's voice cut through, because that's not what Jia would want. Jeon's eyes snapped to her, anger burning. Don't you dare. She joined the choice group to prove herself. Nicole went on, voice soft but firm to show she was strong enough, able enough. She didn't want to die, Jaeyoon. She wanted to live, to build something. And if you kill us, if you wreck this group, you're not honoring her memory. You're just making more death, more sad, more people like you carrying around pain that never heals. Tears went down June's face now. What else am I supposed to do? Just forgive him? Pretend she didn't matter? No. Nicole took another step. She was close enough now to see his finger shaking on the trigger. You make her death mean something. You help Eunuch change this group. So what happened to Jaya never happens to anyone else. You take all that pain and anger and you use it to build instead of wreck. I don't know how to do that. His voice was small, broken. Then let us teach you. Nicole held out her hands slowly. Let us help you carry this sad instead of letting it drown you. Please, June, for Jia, for the sister who wanted to build something better. For a long moment, everything hung in wait. Then slowly, Jayun lowered the gun. Where's Han Wu? Eunuch asked, his voice carefully held. Warehouse in Yongin, District 4, basement. Jion's words came out like a machine. Tired. For guards, the bridge trade was always a trick. They never planned to do the trade. How many people are you working with? MJ moved forward, took June's gun carefully. Just me on the inside. The choice group for doing it. He looked at Eunuch. I'm sorry. I wanted you to hurt the way I hurt. I know Eunuch's voice was rough, and I am sorry for your sister for not giving her a chance. For every choice that led to her death. But if you really want to honor her, if you want Jia's death to mean something, help us end this. Tell us everything. 4 hours left. The warehouse in Yangon was just as Jion said. Mi's team moved through it like shadows, while Nicole stood on the Han River Bridge with Yunyo, waiting for the choice group to show for their fake trade. Her mum had fought, had cried and begged Nicole not to go, but in the end, Maria Santos got what her daughter already knew. Sometimes the only way to win was to walk into the trap and set it off from inside. If this goes wrong, Eunuch started, his hand holding her so tight it almost hurt. It won't. Nicole squeezed back. Trust me, I do. He pulled her close, and suddenly they weren't on a bridge waiting for killers. They were just two people who'd found each other in the worst way, and somehow made it work. I trust you with everything, Nicole. My life, my empire, my heart, all of it. Nicole stood on her toes, kissed him, and this time it wasn't soft or sweet. It was needy and taking, and edged with the promise of everything they'd build together after this was over. His hands held her hips, pulled her close against him, and she could feel his heart pounding against her chest. When this is over, he murmured against her lips, I'm taking you somewhere safe, somewhere quiet, and I'm spending 3 days reminding you just why you decided to stay with me. Heat tugged low in her belly despite the danger, despite everything. Just 3 days for a start. His smile was bad, dangerous. Then we'll see how long it takes me to properly love the woman who saved my whole world. Gotami's voice crackled through their ear. Things, Yan Wu's safe. Heading to get out spot now. Relief hit Nicole so hard she leaned against Yunio. It's over. It's actually 3 cars pulled up at the bridge entrance, and guys came out, with guns. Dangerous. The Choi group coming to get their prize. Not yet, Yunio murmured. But soon. The lead guy came near, gun out. Gee, Yunio, you really showed up. I'm impressed. You have something I want. I have something you want. Eunuch's voice was cold. Let's trade and be done with this. Where's the old man? Nicole asked. Even though she knew the answer, the guy smiled. Change of plans. We keep him. You come with us. And maybe we let him live long enough for you to say goodbye. No. Nicole stepped forward out of Eunuch's protecting reach. That wasn't the deal. Deals change. The guy's gun pointed at her belly. Now move or I'll kill what's growing inside you and take you anyway. What he didn't know, what none of them knew, was that Mi's team had already got in place. That the whole bridge was around. That the moment he'd made the threat, he'd signed his own death paper. The gunshot echoed across the water. The guy dropped and mess started. Nicole felt Eunuch's arm wrap around her, pulling her down and back as his security team showed up from the shadows. The left choice group members tried to fight, tried to run, but it was over in seconds. When the quiet fell, Nicole was shaking, not from fear, but from excitement, from the real that they'd really done it. "It's over," Eunuch said again, pulling her close. "It's really over." 2 weeks later, Nicole stood in a fixed honok in Buchan, wearing an old-style dress in deep red that made her brown skin shine. Her natural curls were fixed with small gold pins, and her mum had helped with the makeup. A mix of old Korean and the bold lip color Maria said yes to. "You look beautiful," Maria whispered, tears in her eyes. Tupap would be so proud. The event was small, just family, which now meant something different than it had 3 months ago. Park Hunwoo, better and sharp-eyed, stood beside Yunsa. Mingi, her scar still healing, but her face almost soft. The close group, smaller now, but stronger, and Jihoon, under watch, but there, because Nicole had said so, because fixing had to start somewhere. When the leader spoke in Korean and English, tying them together, Nicole felt their baby move inside her, barely there, but clear. "I told you you'd change me," Eunuch murmured as they swapped rings. "But you didn't just change me, you changed everything." Good Nicole smiled. "Because I'm not done yet." When they kissed, sealing the promises, her mum cried. Park Hyun-woo smiled, and somewhere in the crowd, MJ muttered something about living through training against all chances. That night, in their bedroom looking over Seoul, Eunuch kept his promise. His hands loved her body with holy strength, his mouth making patterns on her skin that made her gasp. And when they came together, slow and careful and super soft because of the baby, Nicole finally got what home felt like. Not a place, but a person, a choice, a daily pick to stay. 6 months later, their daughter was born. They named her Luna, for the moon that had watched over them that night on the bridge, for new starts, for light in dark. Maria held her granddaughter and cried, "Mia, you made something beautiful out of all this mess." And as Nicole watched Yoon Seok hold Luna with shaking hands, his carefully built control totally broken by 7 pounds of perfect person, she realized something. Love wasn't about chains or cages. It wasn't about owning or control. It was about 2 broken people picking every single day to be better, to protect what mattered, to build instead of wreck. And in that pick, in that daily knowing choice to stay, they'd found everything neither of them had been looking for. Home, family, hope, and a love dangerous enough to burn down the world, but strong enough to build something better in its place. If you loved watching Nicole change from hostage talker to crime queen, and seeing Yoon go from dangerous clingy to loving husband and dad, let me know in the comments which moment hit you hardest. Was it the pregnancy show? The bridge fight? That wedding night promise? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you never miss another Afro-Korean love story. I've got more dangerous guys and brave women waiting for you. Thanks for staying with Nicole in Yoon's story until the end. See you in the next one.